If you knew the day and the time, how would you move differently up until that time? Because that's exactly what you need to be doing now. Hey guys, welcome to Sistervention, the podcast where we unpack it all. This is for the girlies who are looking for a sisterhood. I got you. I'm Crystal Chanel, your favorite big sister that you may have not known you needed, but are so happy to have. And today, we gotta talk about something special. I know some of you guys are feeling it right now. You've been doing everything right. You're praying, you're journaling, you're manifesting, you're putting in the work, but nothing's happening. Meanwhile, everyone else, they're traveling, going viral, getting engaged, landing their dream job, new car, new house, and you're just there. You may feel like God has forgotten about you. And listen, I get it. Waiting seasons can be very, very humbling. But I'm here to tell you that nothing lasts forever. But while you're in this waiting season, it'll have you questioning your worth, your path, your purpose, and even if you're supposed to be here. So today, we're unpacking it all. Why do we experience waiting seasons? How do we avoid comparison and self-doubt? What to do when you feel forgotten or stagnant and stuck? And why putting in those 10,000 hours matter more than luck. And of course, I have some personal stories for you because this one, oh baby, I've lived it. So grab your coffee, your wine, your journal, whatever you need, because it's about to be a sistervention. Let's go. Okay, so let's break it down. A waiting season is one of those time periods where things just aren't happening as fast as you like them to. You're putting in the work, but the results? Crickets. It's not just career. It could be love, friendship, finances, purpose, or even healing. But it's that time in your life where you're just watching everyone else get what you have been praying and hoping for while you just feel stuck in the same place. Now, let's be real. Society does not make a waiting season easy. We live in a world where success seems to happen overnight. You watch one person have a viral video and boom, next thing you know, they're signed by CAA and they're living their best lives. The houses, the cars, the baby, the marriages, they all just seem to pop up. Meanwhile, you may struggle getting out of bed some days and you're like, why me, Lord? Why me? But listen, what we don't see is all the work behind the scenes, the moment of doubt, the failures, the lessons. And sometimes it's not about you not being ready. It's just about the right timing. There are so many times that I wish I had something that I look back and I'm like, girl, not only were you not ready, you were not going to be able to sustain that. And you were not going to be able to appreciate it back then. And I'm so glad, of course, hindsight's 2020, but I'm so glad I didn't have those moments, back then. I remember going on an interview at E. If you were going to be a TV host and you got on E, you were doing it. I was in a program that was sponsored by NBC and ABFF. I had met so many hosts from all around the world. They picked 32 of us for that year. And the winner of the program would get all these opportunities. And a lot of us, if you did well, you would get interviews with E. And I remember going to that interview and I really didn't have much going on at the time, but I just knew I wanted to be on television. And the girl was like, oh, okay, this was good. And I left the interview just feeling like they're not going to call me. They're literally not going to call me. And they didn't call me. And it was okay. I look back now and I'm like, I probably would have been so burnt out by now. I am someone who did not have the stamina to work in entertainment at the time. I think I was way too fragile. I don't think I was really willing to do what it took to be there. And I think I would have got it along the way. But I look back now and I'm like, the opportunities that I know are coming to me, I am so much more prepared for. And at that moment, I thought that was all I ever wanted. And I've done so many things since that. That was, I think, back in 2017, 2018. So now look, we're 8 years later. And here I am, much more confident, much more ready to tackle entertainment in a way that I never could have done before. Sometimes a no is really just a not yet. It may feel like the waiting season is so hard, especially when you're watching everyone's wins in real time. I'm always going to talk about social media because I feel like that is the number one thing that affects our generation. A lot of these things, our parents just did not have to deal with it. If someone got married and someone got a new job back in the day, you had to hear it through somebody else, okay? It was just a big old world of whispers. Now you'll open your phone and you're seeing all these achievements and all these wins as a constant reminder of what you have not done this week, this year, or today. But I want to be honest with you, comparison is truly the thief of joy. It'll actually make you think that you are losing, but really you're in alignment. You are on the right path, but if you start comparing yourself to others, you will believe that you have no purpose, you're not on the right path, and everything else around you just looks so much shinier. I've never been a like, oh my God, why not me type of girl. I feel like when I see people doing really well, I'm like, oh, if that can happen for her, it can happen for me as well. I've always been that type of person, but a lot of times it is a constant reminder of what hasn't happened for you yet. And if you're someone who looks at, things on the bright side or half full versus half empty, you will, say like, oh, okay, like that could happen for me too. But then there's just the reality of like, you're like, okay, but when? And I think for me, that's always been the thing. I've always known that everything I want is going to happen for me, but I'm like, when? If God could just give me a little preview, if he could just tell me, hey, like, girl, relax because it's going to happen on this day at this time, I would probably be a lot more chill in life, but that's just not how life works. And I always tell myself, if you knew the day and the time, how would you move differently up until that time? Because that's exactly what you need to be doing now. So if I knew that like, hey, in 2030, in January, you are going to make $1 million, you're going to get your dream hosting gig, you're going to buy your dream house. It's like, okay, what would you do in preparation for all of those things? Because that is what you should be doing now. Okay? Okay. Sis, you have to remember that no one else's timeline is yours. When I lived in LA, something I always heard in Hollywood entertainment, whatever you want to call it, was the 10,000 hours. Everyone who is an actor, producer, whatever, they will always talk about putting in the 10,000 hours. And at first I was like, okay, is this just like a LA thing? But it actually comes from Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours rules. And it says that you need to put in work of 10,000 hours to master anything. The people that we admire, we always think it's overnight success, but then you see like Sheryl Lee Ralph get up there and like win an Emmy in her 60s, or you see that Issa Rae, didn't start till later on in life. Same thing with Ava DuVernay. I think she didn't pick up a camera till she was like 32. We absolutely have time, but I will say that these people all put in work. We're meeting a lot of these people a lot further along in the journey, and they put years of work in before they were ever noticed. I know this is not what you want to hear, but unfortunately, no one gets there fast, and a lot of the hard work is the work that you do not see. So I want to give you 3 ways to stay focused on your own journey. The first one, track your progress instead of tracking somebody else's progress, okay? The fact that you could tell me about what so-and-so did and what this influencer is up to, what are you doing? Stay focused, stay in your own lane, keep your eyes on your own paper, okay? The second is reframe your failure as practice. There have been so many ventures I have started, failed at, and was like, well, we learned from that and we're gonna take that and move on to the next one. Unfortunately, you're gonna fail, but you gotta fail fast, okay? And use that as practice. It's not a loss, it's just practice. The third one, I want you to remember that timing is just as important as talent. I've been in hosting classes. I've done hosting for a long, long time, but I have watched people who have just turned on their camera and catapult into stardom like that. And I understand that timing is everything. So while you are cultivating your talent, understand that you're just waiting for that right time, and that alignment will come. You have to believe in yourself though. All right, so I want to talk about what to do when it's not your season, because we're not going to just sit around and wait for God to tell us it's our season. No, that's not it. Here's what we actually need to do. Master being happy where you are currently. I'm here to tell you that if you're not happy where you're at now, wherever you think you're going, you're not going to be happy there either. Sorry. Waiting isn't wasted time. It is preparation. Say it with me. Waiting isn't wasted time. It is preparation for what you have been waiting for. The second one, focus on what you can control. If you're feeling stagnant, cultivate a new skill. Start the thing that you have been sitting on. If love isn't happening, girl, love yourself. Watch my last episode on self-love. It's a great one, okay? That is what you need to do. You cannot wait for these things to happen. In the waiting season, it's actually time to take action. If your money is funny, learn how to budget, pick up some new extra side hustles, and make it happen for yourself. Prepare for the bag that you want, okay? Because I'm here to tell you, when that money comes, if you don't know what to do with it, it's not gonna get any better. More money, more problems, okay? And the good Lord says you should be a steward over a little before he gives you a lot. So you wanna be a good steward of your money. So if your money is funny, start prepping now so when those big dollars come in, you know what to do. You know I'm always gonna keep it real with you. Sometimes the waiting season is very long. There have been a few things that I feel like I have been waiting for my whole life. And it's okay because I've just decided to use that time because the time's going to go by whether you want it to or not. But there's been some years where I just had to solely work on me until I really got the lesson. And obviously, we're always going to be learning and working on ourselves. But I will say the years that I could really remember where I had to work on me, they were not fun. They literally weren't fun. And the light at the end of the tunnel seemed so dim. But what was important is that I saw the light. And when you get closer and closer to the end of that, I'm telling you, what is on the other side is so beautiful. But that waiting season can be lonely. It can be ostracizing. It can be a little dangerous too. I will say that, when you're alone with your thoughts, your mind has to be a lot stronger than you've ever imagined because your mind will tell you things that are not true, okay? They're not true, and it's very easy to believe certain things when things just aren't happening for you and you can't see how they're going to happen for you. But that is the beauty of the waiting season, that you have faith, you believe, and that everything you want is on the other side. The waiting season requires a lot of work, emotional work, financial work, physical work, healing work. When I did the work, everything finally started to flow in place. So I'm sorry to break it to you, but the work you're avoiding is where the magic happens. Remember those 10,000 hours. And again, I'm not saying you need to practice 10,000 hours of every single thing you do to get what you want, but it's just a theory that you have to put in the work to get what you want. Faith without work is dead. And a lot of times, luck and timing play a huge role in things, but I'm here to tell you, in your waiting season, it's the best time to take action. So I want to know, what is one thing that you've been putting off because you feel like you're not ready? Because there's a difference between a waiting season and you just procrastinating. I feel like I talked about this before and I'm gonna say it again, okay? There is a difference and I wanna make sure that we're clear on that difference. And while you're waiting for that thing to happen, what is something that you can do in this season to help, push it a little bit further? I would love to know. DM me or leave a comment, of course. But now I wanna get into my favorite segment of the episode, the Sister Vent. Okay, so my Sister Vent of the week is about the pressure and the rush and the competition of timelines within women. I think oftentimes we see someone do it, so we believe that we can do it, which is so true, but everyone has to run their own race. I think too often we get caught up in I got to get it done right now because I planned in my head that I'm supposed to be this by this time. And while I love it for you, sis, I love it for me too. I have a lot of goals that 30-year-old me was supposed to hit. Still not there yet. And a lot of times we feel defeated. It's like, I want these things. Why is it happening for everyone but me? And as much as I can resonate with that, I am here to tell you that that energy just starts to kind of trickle over into other things. And I feel like a lot of times that jealousy starts to pop and you're literally projecting on other people. And that's really my sister vent, is the projection of you being unhappy because you did not do what you were supposed to do in the time you thought you were supposed to do it. And now you're mad at other people. That is not our fault. And I think a lot of times people project and they don't know they're projecting. And I think that's part of a lack of self-awareness. But a lot of times I'll meet people and they won't like me. And I'm like, I'm so likable. What is going on? But I realize that sometimes I just rub people the wrong way. I'm a constant reminder of that you didn't do what you thought you was going to do this year. Or I like to do what I say I'm going to do. And I'm a constant reminder that you didn't do what you said you were going to do. And honestly, it's kind of weird. And I feel like this is a weird sister vent because it's like, I'm popping, you're not. But that's really not what I'm trying to say at all. But I think a lot of times we like subconsciously project on other people because they're a constant reminder of what we did or did not do. And unfortunately, that's just a reflection of you. Like it's not a reflection of them. And when you get caught up in just always comparing yourself and looking at what other people are doing, it's very easy to come off bitter and jealous and just like not that girl. And I think that the energy you think you're giving off, it's just not landing, sis. It's just literally not landing. So I'm here to tell you that, like, you know, everyone's going to run their own race, and it just might not be your season. It just might not be your season. And honestly, I don't even know if this sister event, it might just be a continuation of what I was talking about before, but like, it's heavy on my heart for whoever's listening. Understand that your time is your time and no one else's light can dim yours. Only you can dim your own light, okay? So if you're letting other people's accomplishments get you down or make you feel like you need to be mean and, you know, be bossy or whatever you've convinced yourselves that's what you need to be to make yourself feel better, I'm here to let you know that that's just literally not it. Okay? You need to be able to clap for those around you. I love people who can be in a terrible season of their life, but still show up and celebrate others. It's just not your time, sis. And I know it's frustrating when you have a friend who it always feels like it's their season. We have been there, but please believe your turn is coming. And I'm definitely talking to my girls in their 30s. I think we have convinced ourselves, or maybe society has convinced ourselves. I won't even put that on us. Society has convinced us that it's lights out when you turn 30, okay? Life is truly just beginning. So if you are under 30 listening to this episode, I'm here to tell you it does get greater later. And I know I have some of my aunties watching and my older women. I know you guys can attest. Please leave a comment. It definitely gets greater later. You are so much wiser. A good friend of mine always says it's better to be a young fool than an old fool. So while you're young, and young is still in your 30s, I encourage you to celebrate those around you. Your time is coming, and it's going to be that much sweeter when you celebrated everyone around you and they are all waiting to celebrate that thing that you've been waiting on. It just feels so good. So that is my sister event for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think. Please, send me a DM, send me a comment. I want to hear from you. Can you relate? Let me know. I know the wait is hard, it's frustrating, but one day you're going to look up and be so happy and realize that this season was necessary. So I have a few final takeaways for you. Remember, seasons change. Just because it's not happening now doesn't mean it'll never happen. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. And lastly, great things take time. Put in those 10,000 hours. Your time is coming. Stay ready. Share this with a sis who you think needs it. Don't forget to rate, like, and review the podcast. And until next time, I'm your host, Crystal Chanel. Thanks for listening. Bye.